That's different than I'm going to hit you with a stick until you get in line.
That last comment of his is right on point. This is God's money. This is God's covenant. But you just want to make sure that you're upholding his standards in a way that's not perfectionistic. Welcome to another reaction video. Today we're going to be responding to Dave Ramsey answering a question about inheritance.
We are filling out for our paperwork for our inheritance for our children. We're going through all that process right now. And we like how you put stipulations, and we've heard you say before in your will that you have they have to live a certain way and be a certain way. We're God-fearing Christians. We want to make sure she's living according to the Bible and doing the things that we expect her to.
The first challenge in this question is how nebulous the parameters are when they say, if our daughter's not living in accordance with the Bible. Well, what do you mean by that? We have to understand that every human government has an ultimate penalty. In the civic realm, it's execution. In the church, it's excommunication. In the family, it's disinheritance. And I'm in sympathy with this question. It's a very real question. But the daughter in question could be not living according to the Bible because she is in high rebellion against God and is living as a tranny activist. That's one possibility. Or she could be married to a spiritually duddy guy who goes to church intermittently, and that's not according to the Bible either. So what are we talking about? I don't think that you would disinherit a child for not thriving spiritually or being kind of duddy, but I think you should not supply the blessings that God has given you to children who are living in high rebellion.
Maybe we should give her a chance to get to there, and then she could have part of the inheritance, and that would go for even our boys. So we're just like torn on how we should handle that.
Yeah. Okay. You have the information correct. You have the spirit wrong behind what we did.
I agree very much with what he's saying here. This is not a club. This is simply a club to beat people with. This is simply the way things are.
Okay.
Okay.
What we did was not a punishment thing. It was not a carrot or a stick thing. It was simply we back up and we told our kids from the time they were adults on that for Sharon and I, as for me and my house, we serve the Lord. And so we view our assets as God's. They're not ours. Our job is to manage his stuff his way for him. So the kids have no rights. And what we explained to them was if they inherit something, all they're inheriting is the right to manage it.
I want to push back a little bit here. I think your kids do have the right covenantally, but covenants have terms and stipulations. They have certain rights that a stranger across town doesn't have. So when you pass, a stranger across town doesn't have the right to look expectantly for a letter from the attorney saying he's inherited everything. He has no right to that expectation. And a child of the covenant does have a right to be expecting that, but only in accordance with the terms of the covenant.
They don't become the owner any more than I'm the owner. And so this is, and so you wouldn't hire someone to manage a Burger King who has proven to not follow the Burger King manual.
Correct.
Because the man that owns the Burger King would be pissed because you end up with a McDonald's burger over there or something, right? And so, and it's his money and him that I'm concerned about, and they don't have any legal or spiritual or moral rights to or entitlement to our wealth at all. And when they do inherit it, all they inherit is the weight of it.
But they also inherit the blessing of it. If, again, this is a covenantal thing. So I don't believe your children are starting from square one, just like anybody else, and you could just arbitrarily leave it to whoever. There is such a thing as covenantal blessing. And I agree with him that that blessing is largely the weight of responsibility, which is in its turn also a blessing.
And not the privilege of it. You actually
Okay.
get the privilege, but if you view it properly, it's a responsibility rather than I hit the lotto. You follow me? And so it's not like,
Yes.
if you don't behave, I'm going to take it away from you. That it's not got any of that in it at all. But it's got to be, okay. The other thing that I'll add to that is this, and it's hard for me because at times, especially with people I love, I'm extremely loyal, is that if someone's misbehaving and you give them money, you magnify their misbehavior.
This is very true. You get more of what you subsidize and less of what you penalize. So, yeah, if you don't like something, then don't supply it with the wherewithal to keep on doing the bad stuff.
Absolutely.
An extreme situation is if you've got a kid doing heroin and you leave them $1 million, you're going to kill them because they'll overdose. Because they've got unlimited resources to buy weed and heroin, right?
Yes.
And so you magnify their problem. You don't help it by throwing money on it, whatever the problem is. But let's back up and just view this from a manager or a stewardship perspective. And that's the way I would talk to her about it. I would say, honey, I love you. And, you know, you and I can have a discussion about your behavior between father and daughter. But I also need to tell you, I can't, in good conscience, leave you managing God's stuff when you're not following God. And that's different than I'm going to hit you with a stick until you get in line.
That last comment of his is right on point. This is God's money. This is God's covenant. Everything operates within his boundaries, but you just want to make sure that you're upholding his standards in a way that's not perfectionistic. You didn't tithe one month 3 years ago, and so we're not going to give you the inheritance. That would be the wrong spirit.